Hi everyone, I'm going to speak to you today about teaching gifted students. First, let's take a look at what it means to be gifted. It includes those with exceptional abilities in any area of learning that exceeds grade level expectations. These students have the ability to learn new material very quickly, often even before the teachers finish teaching it, which really makes review unnecessary and makes for a very bored student if they have to sit through not only the original teaching but also a reteaching. They have the ability to deal with concepts too complex and abstract for their peers. They typically have a passionate interest in one or two topics, and they don't necessarily need to watch the teacher to understand what is being said, and they definitely can process more than one task at a time. Some of the social emotional characteristics of these students: they have an extra perception, they're profoundly sensitive to small differences and pick up on details very quickly. High involvement includes they will think or dream repetitively of various problems, pictures, patterns, or things that are of concern to them. They think of art and music and social relationships typically different than their peers. This is where they really exercise their capacity for analysis. And this idea of perfectionism, they set high standards for themselves, but others also often set high standards for them. And if that happens and they're deprived of praise, they can get caught up in this cycle of hopelessness as they try to please parents, teachers, and others who are never satisfied with their achievements. And this idea of uneven integration. So students can be gifted in one or two areas, but not others. So they still need guidance, support, and patience in these other areas of content, as well as room to grow in their areas of giftedness. So typically 5% of those identified are gifted across the board. So we still have 95% approximately that fall into this uneven integration. A little bit about the weight of giftedness. These students received mixed messages from society and the media. We're a world that rewards rock stars, musicians, and athletes. And a general message often is it's okay to be smart, but not too smart. So often these students try to hide their giftedness and are often encouraged to do so by peers by keeping it a secret. Some other perceptions from the media and society include gifted students are physically weak, socially inadequate, out of touch, unattractive. They can have a propensity for mental problems, and their giftedness can be limiting to them. Asynchronous development refers to uneven intellectual, physical, and emotional development. So students can be highly advanced in one or more areas and average in other areas. That is, they often develop various areas in their life at different rates, so their development is out of sync. For example, a 3-year-old may show literacy and numeracy skills that are equivalent to a 6-year-old, however, develop physically like a 4-year-old and exhibit emotional and social behaviors that are typical of a 3-year-old, which is his or her chronological age. So consequently, parents and teachers have to stop and think about the chronological age of a student or child before reacting to their outbursts, etc. Often, however, this development evens out by the early teen years. Some considerations, some things to think about for teachers and others is remember that grade level standards are designed for grade level learners and they're not at the instructional level of gifted students. And we really have an obligation to teach all students something new and challenging every day in school. And we really need to recognize and serve the different learning needs in all situations in which students have advanced abilities. And students must have a mindset that hard work is absolutely necessary for learning success, and here effort is the key factor. So, students who attribute their success to their inborn ability live in fear that one day their fixed ability will not be sufficient for some required task. In other words, they have a fixed mindset. But those that attribute their success to hard work are in complete control of the outcome. They, in turn, have a growth mindset that all they have to do is to work harder to grow. And this is where effort based praise is key. A little bit about cultivating giftedness in the classroom. So take time to learn about your students, their interests, and their learning styles, and give students the opportunity to demonstrate what they already know about a subject, because chances are they do know a lot more about it and perhaps have even gained mastery before even being taught the lesson. Use compacting methods with all instruction. So these students who've already gained mastery have the opportunity to pursue extension activities or to accelerate their learning. So just as we add minutes to lessons for students who need more time to reach mastery, gifted students may need less time, thus having time to move on to other activities. Practice ability grouping when grade level expectations are exceeded to focus on appropriately differentiated activities for these advanced learners, and offer meaningful choices. Think about the different types of extension activities you could offer your students, as well as the type of product that better aligns with the way they learn and produce, such as choices about whether to give an oral presentation or build a diorama or do a music composition or a video. And encourage independent research on topics of interest. Also, think about differentiated assessment and grading options. So, become familiar with and use various types of formative assessments that are alternatives to paper and pencil assessments. And don't underestimate the power of simply watching and listening as you move around the room. And regarding grading options, grades are meant to emphasize learning. And so think of grading perhaps in a little different frame from how we typically think about it. For instance, use a self-evaluation checklist so students can evaluate their own work. And welcome parents in this process as you move through this journey. Often they can help you by giving you information and tips about how their students typically react at home or out in the community that may help you better work with students in the classroom. And in conclusion, just thinking about not only gifted learners, but the way all of our students learn. This quote by Kenneth Dunn: "If they can't learn the way we teach them, we must teach them the way they learn." And then also in the Weinbrenner book, it should be possible to serve the learning needs of all without creating conditions in which one ability group does not get what they need.